I'm starting to worry. We got a big problem here.
Yeah, I'm catching on too.
I looked in the Shadowfell, couldn't find Ben. I looked in the Feywild, couldn't find Ben. I went everywhere, man.
You went to the Fey?
Dude, it's for the sake of the podcast.
But I'm not, that gifted.
At this point, he's probably really old and decrepit because time moves different.
I'm guessing he's probably starved by now.
Yo, guys!
What, Ben?
I just made it back from the Feywild in time for the Cleric episode.
No, it's actually Druids.
Yeah, you didn't get back in time, so we went ahead and did it.
I swear I was only gone for 5 minutes.
No, it's been over a week.
No. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This blows. Luckily, Druid's my favorite class. So I guess I'm just in time.
Well, would you like to lead the Druids?
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, I've been waiting for this chance. Hello and welcome to Travelers, Tips, and Tales. My name is Ben.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jake.
And today, we will be talking about the Druid. The Druid, the most magical of all classes, the one that is truly in touch with nature, and they use that power of nature to bring balance to the world, and to kill anyone who gets in their way.
As all true Druids should.
Exactly.
Except Landers. Landers doesn't do it.
Landers is I don't know, man. I've seen Landers mess people up. I've seen evidence to support the opposite.
We don't talk about those evidence.
All right, if that's what you want, let's.
Michael, this is actually your initiation. I'm just kidding.
Anyways, today we'll be talking about the Druid. First things first. What even is a Druid? For those who don't know, what would you guys describe as a Druid?
A guy who's really into plants, I guess.
Okay, but that could be a stoner too. You gotta elaborate. What about you,
pretty
Michael?
vague area.
For me, a Druid is like a cross between a cleric and a monk. They're very spiritual, like a monk. They draw power and wisdom of life, and they're also like a cleric because a lot of times Druids will find their way to, the following of a god who respects nature and rules over nature.
These are some pretty good points, but you're wrong, both of you.
Oof.
Are you sure they're not just stoners? I'm pretty confident.
You're both wrong, because you're both right.
What?
You have to take those two and combine them. The Druid is the coolest, most in touch with nature, most stoner-esque, most monk-esque spellcaster you will ever find. The Druid is the crazy hermit that lives in the park, and every time the cops come to try to throw him out, they can't find him because guess what? He turned into a cat. And that cat is getting in a fight in an alley over a dead fish right now. And you'll never know it's him unless he loses and suddenly turns back into a regular dude, in which case the cat runs off. He gets the fish anyway.
That sounds thrilling.
Urban Druid, everybody.
He turned into a rat.
Yeah, he turned into one of those big sewer rats you
now
get
he's
in
crawling
New York
around
City.
in your house.
Urban Druid, our next homebrew release.
That's not even... I have news for you, my friend. Pretty sure that's one of the land options, is to get the Urban Druid. Actually.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Oh, wait, no. Must have been another thing I found. Never mind. Anyways, not the point.
Probably homebrew.
So yes, being in touch with nature, being somewhat monk, somewhat cleric, somewhat stoner, the Druid's main ability is wisdom, which they use for all of their spell casting things, which is a big part of Druid because, honestly, if you look at what Druids get at each level, they pretty much just get more spells every level.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah, wisdom, super important. If you don't have wisdom as a Druid, you're probably not going to have a very fun time, not going to lie. And that's coming from me, the guy who says throw out all conventions on building your character properly, and I'm just like, yes, do wisdom, please.
Please don't forget about wisdom.
Don't forget about wisdom. So, yeah. Some unique features you're going to run into, though. Let's say you want to build a druid, and the first thing you do, all right, first thing you want to look at, you're like, man, what do I get as a druid? What's that, like, first initial thing that I will look and see? I'll give you a hint. It's druidic.
Yeah. So druidic is like the secret elite language that you learn when you become a druid. And apparently, if you teach anyone else, sucks to suck, loser, you freaking scumbag. Why'd you teach other people our secrets? You don't get to be a druid anymore. Harsh world out there, man.
It's true. According to 3.5 lore, if you ever teach anyone who's not a druid druidic, all the other druids will shun you and basically excommunicate you. Also, you're not allowed to wear metal or use metal weapons.
Yeah, it's just a cool club language that you get to learn. Pretty neat.
Yeah. And then once you learn druidic and you go through that first level of just knowing this cool language and getting to cast a few spells, you learn the real bread and butter at second level, which is wild shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most amazing of all skills ever.
Yeah, so this one, it's a little bit of a long description for what the ability is. I'm going to try and work through it as quickly as possible without, minging too many of the details here. So you get it at second level, and you can use your action to magically assume the shape of a beast that you have seen before. You can use this feature twice, and you regain expended uses when you finish a rest. Short or long, doesn't matter. Your druid level determines the beast you can transform into, as shown in the beast shapes table. Now this is showing that at second level, you can turn into a beast that has a max CR of 1/4, and the limitations are no flying or swimming speed. At fourth level, the max CR is 1/2, limitations are no flying speed, and at eighth level, max CR is 1, and there are no limitations. You can stay in beast shape for a number of hours equal to half your druid level, rounded down. You then revert to your normal form unless you expend another use of the feature. You can revert to your normal form earlier by using a bonus action on your turn. You automatically revert if you fall unconscious, drop to 0 hit points, or die. And while you're transformed, there's a few things that apply. Your physical statistics are just replaced by the beast that you turn into, so whatever beast you turn into, you take on their strength, dexterity, and constitution while still keeping your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And when you transform, you also assume the beast's hit points, and you also retain any features from your class, race, or other source that can be used within reason of the beast that you were transformed into. This does not include spells. You cannot cast spells as a beast while wild-shaped. Sucks for you.
Well, but you can maintain your concentration if you already cast a spell.
Indeed.
Yes.
Also, for those who don't know, because this is not a term that most players are going to hear unless they've DM'd or played a druid before, CR stands for challenge rating, and it is a system that is used to identify about what difficulty a creature is based on how powerful it is. And generally speaking, a CR matches up to your party's level. So when it says you CR 1/4, that means it'll have a challenge rating of 1/4 or less. That's what you can turn into. You're going to have to ask the DM for the statistics on a lot of these things, and you get to annoy the crap out of them if you're like, hey, is that a beast? And you're like, you wouldn't know that. And I'm like, oh, but I would know that. But I would, because I'm a druid. It's funny. It's all fun games. It is. All right. Now, wild shape, super cool, super important. However, here's the thing. You don't get anything else important until level 18. So just go ahead and skip 16 levels before you get your next cool ability.
We'll scurry along here.
We'll scurry along.
Basically, everything before here is just you get more spells and you get improved wild shape in the ways that Michael already touched on.
Yeah.
and stuff from your subclass. So at 18th level, you get as a druid, you get two things. The first being uh, timeless body, and
Which is
basically what it
actually
is.
how I managed to survive the Feywild. Fun fact, because I am actually a level 20 druid.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, sure. But anyways, at 18th level, the primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly. For every 10 years that pass, your body ages only 1 year. So you just age 10 times slower. Congratulations, you're so dank that you can't get old.
And if you're playing an elf, oh good
Oh
God.
boy.
You will live for like
You're here forever.
7,000 years.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere anytime soon.
And if you're playing a human, congratulations, you can legitimately date an elf. And not have them look at you like the latest fling that'll last a couple decades and then they'll be back to whatever they were doing.
Hashtag Landers.
Landers trying to get an elf girl.
You know, the whole Landers in the Day thing is actually looking a lot more viable now that I'm thinking of it.
I don't know if I ship it yet. The Day is just kind of like, I feel like she gave off big little sister vibes from the start, so it's kind of weird, if you ask me.
Anyways, regardless.
But none of the listeners know about any of this. This is just our home game.
That we played today.
Yeah.
Literally just played this game.
Yeah, a couple hours ago. But anyways.
Regardless. So yeah, you get Timeless Body. Another thing you get at 18th level is this wonderful ability called Beast Spells. And you know how Michael was talking crap to you that you couldn't cast spells while wild shaped? Well, guess what? Now you can. You had to get to 18th level to do it, but now you can. As long as they don't have material components, because you can't offer material components while you're doing that, but you can do verbal and somatic components. So you can still cast some spells, which is super important. And then when you hit level 20, you get this thing called Archdruid. And Archdruid is everything you've come to know about Druid, but better. Archdruid makes it so that you can wild shape an unlimited number of times per day.
How nice.
So yeah, you're basically gonna always look like some kind of beast, because why not? Also, you know those spells you can cast? Well, now you don't even have to use verbal or somatic components. They just happen. You can literally be a fly on the wall and make people explode into gigantic balls of fire, and no one will have any idea what the hell is going on. What power have you unleashed? Who knows? Is it you? Is it some other wizard that's going off doing whatever? It doesn't matter. They'll never find out. Because you're just you. You can be, for example, I don't know, a magical gecko that like walks on walls and sneaks into
just a little spider or something.
Yeah, sneaks into places and all of a sudden it's like firestorm. Like what?
Yeah, you could be a little spider sneaking into Mayor Klein's house, searching for gold, then finding that people pissed in the potted plants.
And then you could use True Polymorph and turn yourself into a, adult white dragon, and just all of a sudden you exist somewhere. It's like, Jesus.
Oh boy.
How did this happen? Druids, that's how. So yeah, once you hit level 20, you are basically the ultimate in completely ruining every plan your DM has ever thought of. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
It will never.
If you ask me, druids are the perfect example of having a very slow start at the beginning and being kind of underrated at like beginning levels. They're kind of falling behind in like ability wise. Everyone else gets a bunch of other cool stuff, but druids are kind of like sticking to their own thing. But then once they hit those high levels, good luck.
But in the druid's defense,
destroy you.
In the druid's defense, they do get access to some amazing spells that only they have access to, and bards, I guess, if they want to cheat and take the spells, but that are absolutely insanely powerful.
Yeah.
Like call lightning.
Yeah.
10 minutes of constant lightning strikes, 1 per round.
Yup.
God, it's amazing. That's 1,000 lightning strikes.
Yeah.
I just want to say, it was not necessary to call out bards like that.
Hey, man.
Well, they're stinky.
Bards, yeah, man. They stink of cologne and whatever else they're rocking today.
Angst.
Angst. No, that's rogue.
Really?
Anyways, moving right along.
They reap of edge.
At level 2, the same time you get Wild Shape, you also get your Druid Circle, which is your subclass. And your Druid Circle is going to be the only thing you have to look forward to until you hit level 18. So you better pick wisely.
Yeah.
Wise. Wisdom.
Nice.
So yeah, you better pick wisely because you're going to be looking forward to those abilities a lot. And sometimes none of those even work. Sometimes you got to go homebrew, which I did not too long ago. And I'll be talking about that character today. He is of a homebrew subclass, so, do what you gotta do, talk to your DM. There's usually ways around that to get exactly what you're looking for, but we're gonna talk about the ones that are officially released as of the making of this video. Starting with one of my personal favorites, Dreams. The Circle of Dreams is a druid who embodies all of the weirdness and wackiness and power of the Feywild. Kind of like the Glamour Bard, but in the druid form. And they get some pretty neat abilities that have to do with, the weirdness of the Feywild. Like, when you first take it, you get an ability called Balm of the Summer Court, which, if you don't know anything about the Feywild, there's the Summer Court, and then there's the Glooming Court, or the Seelie and Unseelie Fey. There's 2 different kinds, all the light and all the dark, both wild and full of life. Well, at 2nd level, you get a Font of Energy, represented by a number of d6s equal to your Druid level, so up to 20 if you actually hit level 20. And you can use it, a bonus action, to heal anyone you want within 120 feet of you, as many of those d6s as you want. You just throw them out there. You're just like, heal. Or
That's
if you're
like
barbarian, bonus action.
Bonus action. Oh, nice.
That's really good. You don't even have to use an action for that.
Yeah, it's
And
really good.
And it's not a spell, so you can also cast whatever level spell you want.
Yeah, wow.
So you can heal with your spell and heal as a bonus action if you really need to. If it's that dire of a situation, you can do that too.
Can you split them up too?
Yes.
So on the same bonus action, you can heal one person 2d6 and another person 3d6? Okay.
No, you have to choose one creature at a time.
Gotcha.
But at 6th level, you get Hearth of Moonlight and Shadow, which is super amazingly useful when you are taking a rest, a long rest. You create a 30-foot radius of kind of disguising shadow that gives a +5 bonus to anyone inside on their stealth and perception checks, and blocks the light of your campfire from outside viewers.
Nice.
In other words, the ultimate druid for Tomb of Annihilation. Because, god dang it. So many things in that jungle.
So many things that go bump in the night.
Yeah. And then at 10th level, you get to access the hidden paths that the Fae use to travel about. You get the ability Hidden Paths. And as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to a place you can see. Or you can teleport someone else within that you touch up to 30 feet away. So basically what Eladrin get, but you get to use it just as part of your ability. And you get to use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per day.
Nice.
Pretty sweet. Just free teleports. Why not?
Nice. That's pretty helpful.
And then finally, you get a special ability at 14th level called Walker in Dreams. Kind of the whole point of the dream, not going to lie, of the dreams circle.
Yeah.
When you finish a short rest, you can cast one of the following spells without expending a spell slot or requiring material components. You can cast Dream, where you reach out to someone in their dreams and message them, and send them a message in their dreams. You can Scry, where you can just go look at whatever you want, anywhere you want, any person you want,
That
anything.
is
You just
helpful.
or teleportation circle.
Oh.
But instead of opening a portal to a permanent teleportation circle, it opens a portal to the last location where you finished a long rest on your current plane of existence.
Oh.
So instead of just being like, oh yeah, anyone can teleport here, it's no, we just took a long rest here. We're gonna go back to the last place we took a long rest now, thank you.
If you've got an hour to spend, you can hightail it out of wherever the heck you are to a certain extent.
Yes, exactly. So, and especially if you, let's say you take a long rest, and then you go out on adventures all day for maybe a couple days, and you're just taking short rest because it's too dangerous to take a long rest, and all of a sudden you're just like, all right, teleportation circle, we're back in town.
You poor soul, you must be so sleep deprived.
Yes, but that is exactly the point. You can just go and go and go and go and go, and then you're back home. You're back where the last place you slept was.
Yeah?
Like, you're force marching it. Everyone has like a couple levels of exhaustion. Everyone's like, "Oh man, we're so drained. We can't keep going." And then the druid's like, "It's okay. We got what we came here for. Teleportation circle. Everyone's gone. You're good."
All right.
And that is the circle of dreams. So,
all right, listen
circle.
now. Listen, hear me out, guys. We can't sleep. What? Monks? Yeah, I'm good. All I need is a short rest. Any Warforged in the party? You're like, sounds good to me.
The elves are all like, I mean, I'm good. Like, but yes, next up we have the Circle of Land.
Yes. The Circle of Land is a lot of mystics and sages who safeguard ancient knowledge and rites through a vast oral tradition. They're basically there to protect nature. And as a member of this circle, your magic is influenced by the land where you were initiated into the circle's mysterious rites. So, initially, when you first take this, you learn an additional druid cantrip of your choice, and you also gain natural recovery. So, at second level, you can regain some of your magical energy by sitting in meditation and communing with nature. During a short rest, you choose expended spell slots to recover. The spell slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your druid level rounded up, and none of the slots can be 6th level or higher. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. So, this is super good because you're able to recover spell slots after just spending an hour. So, I know with the druid that I play, Landers, unfortunately he can't recover the spell slot that he uses the most because it's a 6th level spell slot. So that kind of sucks, but at the same time, like, being able to recover 1st through 5th level spell slots by taking a short rest, that can be the difference between life and death in some dungeons.
Yeah, very helpful.
Look, man, all I'm saying is Call Lightning's only 3rd level. And the more Call Lightnings you do, the better druid you are.
So the next ability is the circle spells that you get, and that's what was mentioned earlier with the getting magic influenced by the land you were initiated, because so there's 8 different land types.
Oh boy.
The first one is, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know the spells that you get at the various levels for each land type, just kind of like what we did last week with Cleric and those subclasses.
Yeah.
So, as an Arctic land druid, at 3rd level you get Hold Person and Spike Growth. At 5th level you get Sleet Storm and Slow. 7th level you get Freedom of Movement and Ice Storm. 9th level you get Commune with Nature and Cone of Cold. As a coastal land druid, you get Mirror Image and Misty Step at 3rd level. 5th level you get Water Breathing and Water Walk. 7th level you get Control Water and Freedom of Movement. And at 9th level you get Conjure Elemental and Scrying. As a desert druid, you get Blur and Silence at 3rd level. At 5th level, you get Create Food and Water and Protection from Energy. At 7th level, you get Blight and Hallucinatory Terrain. At 9th level, you get Insect Plague and Wall of Stone. Forest Druids get Bark Skin and Spider Climb at 3rd level, Call Lightning and Plant Growth at 5th level, Divination and Freedom of Movement at 7th level, and at 9th level you get Commune with Nature and Insect Plague. Grassland, 3rd level Invisibility, Pass Without Trace, 5th level Daylight and Haste, 7th level Divination and Freedom of Movement, 9th level Dream and Insect Plague. Mountain, 3rd level you get Spider Climb and Spike Growth, 5th level you get Lightning Bolt and Meld into Stone, 7th level you get Stone Shape and Stone Skin, and at 9th level you get Pass Wall and Wall of Stone. Swamp, you get Darkness and Melf's Acid Arrow at 3rd, Water Walk and Stinking Cloud at 5th, Freedom of Movement and Locate Creature at 7th, and Insect Plague and Scrying at 9th. And finally, we have the Underdark, Spider Climb and Web at 3rd, Gaseous Form and Stinking Cloud at 5th, Greater Invisibility and Stone Shape at 7th, and Cloud Kill and Insect Plague at 9th. I don't know if you guys realize this, but Insect Plague was in over half of those. It's a good spell. It is one of my favorite spells.
There's a lot of good spells in there.
Yeah, I know that was just like an information dump, but I had to just kind of get through that real quick for you guys.
I feel ashamed that only one of them had Call Lightning.
Alright, so at 6th level as a land druid, you can move through non-magical difficult terrain at no extra movement cost. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them, and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard. In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such as those created by the Entangle spell. That is fantastic to not have to worry about the foliage around you and what kind of hazard it might cause you, and also be able to just be like, nah, I'm walking through these bushes regardless of what they say.
Yeah.
At 10th level, you get an ability called Nature's Ward, and all that is you can't be charmed or frightened by elementals or fae, and you are immune to poison and disease.
Congrats.
I don't know about you guys, but in my games, I run into poison and disease a lot. It's nice to have immunity.
I will admit, it is very nice.
Oh, man.
In that same game with Landers, I have a character that's immune to poison and disease.
Yeah. It makes it very fun when Ben's like, all right, roll a Constitution save. And we're like, oh, is it for poison or disease? It's like, yeah. We're like, okay, cool. I don't need
to. I succeed. Thank you. And then the rest of our party is like, oh no. And then they all fail.
Yeah. Actually, it's for a poisonous disease. That's what it's for.
And then me and Landers just look at each other like, well, this is interesting.
It's okay. Yeah. Poisonous disease is still a disease.
It's true.
It's actually a diseased poison. It's a poison that's dying slowly.
So that's a good thing
poison is still a poison.
To poison as well.
It's just worse for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real bad.
And finally, at 14th level, you get Nature's Sanctuary. At 14th level, creatures of the natural world sense your connection to nature and become hesitant to attack you. When a beast or plant creature attacks you, that creature must make a wisdom saving throw against your druid spell save DC. Throwback to wisdom being important here. It's needed. And on a failed save, the creature must choose a different target or the attack automatically misses. On a successful save, the creature is immune to this effect for 24 hours, and the creature is aware of this effect before it makes its attack against you. That's fantastic to me.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Especially if you were fighting someone who was like forcing beasts to attack you or something. Like they had like a pack of dogs or attack dogs, and they're all just like, "Oh no, we don't want to attack that guy."
See, it's not as likely. Cool. It's not as likely to happen at higher levels, but sometimes you're just adventuring through the woods, and a pack of wolves just shows up.
Yeah. The forest is a foe sometimes.
#Skyrim.
Dude, sometimes a saber
very
cat just
scary.
comes out of nowhere and is just like, yo.
Meow.
And you're like, no.
At low levels, you're like, oh god. Even high
Why?
levels, you're like, free stuff.
At low levels, you're like, when was my last autosave?
Exactly. It's like save now.
Yep.
That is it for the land druids. It's a lot of information. I suggest that you check them out on your own because you probably got tired of me listening or listing all those things and stopped listening to it and skipped forward. So I don't blame
Don't worry. If you have a short attention span, you're in luck because so do I. So I'm probably going to leave out a lot.
Oh no.
And I'm about to take my subclasses that I'm
Ben,
exploring.
what have you given him?
You gave me 2, you fool! And you put them right next to each other, so I'll obviously forget it. Anyways, so I'm doing the Circle of the Moon. It's pretty neat, and basically where all the other ones, they touch on other cool things that you could do. The Circle of the Moon is like, hey, you know that wild shape thing you got at level 2, and it just kind of gets a little bit better, slowly but surely? Yeah, let's just make that OP as all heck now. And so you start out with improved wild shape. Like you get higher CRs right when you take the Druid Circle. Is it at second level that you take Druid Circles?
Yes.
Or is it
Yeah.
third? It's second level, yeah. And so right away you jump all the way up to 1 CR, max of a 1 CR, which is the max of a level 20 Druid in any other category. So you're already better than everybody else in this sense, right? And you still can't pick any flying or swimming speeds, but at 4th level you can be things that have swimming speeds, and then at 6th level you get to a second CR. At 8th level you can transform into anything that has a flying speed or a swimming speed and a second level CR. And then at 9th level you get 3rd CR, 12th 4th CR, 15th 5th CR, and 18th 6th CR. Those are big. Those are big boy CRs.
Especially when
You can turn into some pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, especially when you get Archdruid and you can do it an unlimited number of times per day.
Yeah, you're getting pretty crazy here. I'm not gonna lie. And also very helpful. Starting at 6th level, your attacks when you're in wild shape or beast form, they count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistances to non-magical attacks. Right, so anything that's resistant to non-magical bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage, screw you. It still counts, you butt. I get to do normal damage, jerk. At 10th level, you can expend 2 uses of your wild shape, which, I mean, once you're Archdruid, doesn't matter, because you can do it as many times as you want. But it does hinder you a little bit at the start. But you can turn into an air elemental, earth elemental, fire, or water elemental. So that's pretty neat. Those boys got some pretty chonk health sometimes, which can be very helpful.
Yeah.
Or just useful abilities.
Or just useful abilities.
Ocean,
I mean, yeah, swim speeds, really big swim speeds, really big fly speeds. You know, you're made of fire. You're made of rock. I think those are benefits enough on their own, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
And then rock slide? Earth elemental.
I'm a chillin'.
We're fighting a fire wizard? I'm gonna be a fire elemental.
Anyways, and then at 14th level, you learned to use magic to alter your physical form in more subtle ways. And you can literally cast the spell Alter Self at will. Congrats.
Nice.
You're OP now. You are the best shape changer there ever was. Also, you could be like a shape changer as a race if your DM allows it. So, just putting that out there. You could just change into a whole bunch of stuff all the time and no one will be able to stop you. It'll be crazy. And you'll just be a kind of OP like that. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to Moon Druid. It's just evolving what is already there for wild shape and just advancing that, you know. But moving on to Circle of Shepherd. And so at second level, you can talk to beasts and fae, pretty much. It's very helpful. You learn how to read, write, and speak, read, and write Sylvan, and animals can like understand you and all that stuff. Good stuff. Cool. You also get to like call forth spirits to aid you, and there's 3 types of spirits that you can call, and they basically like last for a minute or until you die or anything like that. And once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So, but there's different things that kind of project this aura around you. And that depends on what type of spirit you do. And so I'm just going to read out the spirits. The first one is Bear Spirit, and the Bear Spirit grants you and your allies its might and endurance. Each creature in your choice in the aura, when the spirit appears, gains temporary hit points equal to 5 plus your Druid level. In addition, you and your allies gain advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws while in the aura. It's pretty neat. Hawk Spirit is another one that you can do, and the Hawk Spirit is a consummate hunter. It's a big word. Consummate hunter. Aiding you and your allies with its keen sight. When a creature makes an attack roll against a target in the spirit's aura, you can use your reaction to grant advantage on that attack roll. In addition, you and your allies have advantage on perception checks while in the aura. Very helpful. And the third one is Unicorn Spirit. And the Unicorn Spirit lends its protection to those nearby. You and your allies gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirit's aura. In addition, if you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points to any creature inside your or outside your aura, each creature of your choice in the aura also regains its hit points equal to your Druid level. So you're a little bit better at healing now. Congrats.
Nice.
And then, at 6th level, you get an ability called Mighty Summoner. And basically how that works is the spirits that you summon are a little bit better now. They get more HP dependent on how many hit dice they have. Two extra hit points per hit die they have. And also, whatever damage that they deal is considered magical for the same reason as I said before, overcoming resistances. And then at 10th level, you get a ability called Guardian Spirit. Beginning at 10th level, your spirit totem safeguards the beasts and fae that you call forth with your magic. When a beast or fae that you summoned or created with a spell ends its turn in your spirit totem aura, that creature regains a number of hit points equal to half your Druid level. So now you're kind of buffing your own spirits. Congrats. They take longer to die now, which is good.
You buff your spirits with spirits, and then you summon spirits to buff those spirits, and then...
Yeah. And then starting at 14th level, this is kind of my favorite part of the Shepherd subclass. It's called Faithful Summons, and I'm just going to read it out for you guys. Starting at 14th level, the natural spirits you commune with protect you when you are the most defenseless. If you are reduced to 0 hit points or are incapacitated against your will, you can immediately gain the benefits of Conjure Animals as if it were cast using a 9th level spell slot. It summons 4 beasts of your choice that are challenge rating 2 or lower. The conjured beasts appear within 20 feet of you. If they receive no commands from you, they protect you from harm and attack your foes. The spell lasts for 1 hour, requiring no concentration, or until you dismiss it, no action required. And once you use that, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Once you go down, you literally summon animals to protect your body. They literally do all that they can to make sure that you don't die for real. Which is pretty great, if you ask me. It's just kind of like having a couple of babysitters.
You go down and the spirits are just like, yo, our homie. We
like that guy. We like that guy. He can't die.
Go kill everyone that's trying to harm him.
Back off, nerds. That guy's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much Shepherd. I think it's pretty neat still. I like it too.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But last, but certainly not least, might even be my favorite archetype. Michael, go ahead and take it away with...
Yes, so this is the Circle of Spores. Circle of Spores druids often focus on decay and the kind of revolution of, the constant changing between life and death, and how it's one big cycle and it's nothing really to be worried about.
Dude, someone sprinkled some rogue edge in your druid.
Yeah. So just like the land druid, you get some spells here, but don't worry, there's not all the different types of spore druids. It's only one. It's a spore druid, okay? So
Okay.
you get the chill touch cantrip at second level, and then at third level you get blindness and deafness and gentle repose. At fifth level you get animate dead and gaseous form. At seventh level you get blight and confusion, and at ninth level you get cloud kill and contagion. These are all pretty good spells. I do appreciate most of those. Also at second level, you are surrounded by invisible necrotic spores that are harmless until you unleash them on a creature nearby. When a creature you can see moves into a space within 10 feet of you or starts its turn there, you can use your reaction to deal a d4 of necrotic damage to that creature unless it succeeds on a con saving throw against your spell save DC, and the damage increases to higher dice at various levels. Also at second level.
It's a lot of second level abilities here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You gain the ability to channel magic into your spores, and as an action, you can expend a use of your wild shape feature to awaken the spores, rather than transforming into a beast form. And you gain 4 temporary hit points for each level you have as a druid. While this feature is active, you also gain a couple of other benefits. When you deal your Hail of Spores damage, which was the first one that I had talked about, you roll the damage die a second time and add it to the total. So you'd be rolling 2d4, or at higher levels 2d6, 2d8, or 2d10. And then another ability that you get from this feature here is your melee weapon attacks deal an extra d6 poison damage to any target they hit. And these benefits last for 10 minutes, or until you lose all these temporary hit points, or until you use your wild shape.
Oh,
so good. That's at
That's
second
pretty brutal.
level.
That's pretty brutal.
That was
Second
all at
level.
second level.
Yeah,
Yes.
all three of those make it, you kind of feel like that should have been up to 10th level or whatever. like those are all so good that it's that was all at second level.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't want to piss off that guy.
And then at 6th level, you get an ability called Fungal Infestation. If a beast or humanoid that is small or medium dies within 10 feet of you, you can use your reaction to animate it, causing it to stand up immediately with 1 hit point. The creature will use the zombie statistics and remains animated for 1 hour, after which it collapses and dies. The zombie takes its turn right after you in combat. It obeys mental commands, and the only action that it can take is the attack action, making 1 melee attack every turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1, and you regain all expended uses of it when you finish a long rest. So at 6th level, you're already pumping out damage, and then on top of that, you get to just raise dead for free, basically.
Yeah.
What? I'm gonna be honest, I've never looked into Circle of Spores, and I'm already liking it.
You know why you never did? Because you're a fool. Druid is the greatest class of all time.
I was blinded by the Circle of Land. Alright. But there's still a couple more abilities, as if that wasn't enough. At 10th level, you get Spreading Spores. You gain the ability to send your spores to an area using a bonus action 30 feet away, where they swirl in a 10-foot cube for up to 1 minute. The spores disappear if you use this feature again, if you dismiss them as a bonus action, or if your symbiotic entity feature is no longer active. Whenever a creature moves into the cube or starts its turn there, that creature takes your Halo of Spores damage, unless the creature succeeds on a con saving throw against your spell save DC, they can take this damage no more than once per turn. While the cube of spores persists, you cannot use your Halo Spores reaction. So it's not too broken, but it's up there.
It's broken enough.
Yeah.
It's that just right amount of broken.
And then 14th level, I mean, come on. As if you needed more. The fungal spores in your body alter you. You can't be blinded, deafened, frightened, or poisoned, and any critical hit against you counts as a normal hit unless you are unconscious.
Oh, that's really good. That is really good.
That's so busted, though.
That's really good. Oh man, that's brutal. That hurt my little rogue heart. But anyway.
But moving on. We're gonna talk a little bit about the role play. The role play of a druid.
Noise.
And
I'm all for
to be honest, there's a ton of ways you can do it. Obviously, it's your character. You can do whatever you want with it. But there are some traditional ways that I want to talk about since I love druids. And also how I've done it in the past is not that way. So I have a good amount of perspective on how to roleplay a druid. I think the most important thing is to protect the wilds and the secrets of the druids. Because a lot of people, I think, when they look at druid, they're like, oh man, I'm going to play this like any other character. You know, they're going to get to know their party and they're not going to really keep secrets from them. And it's going to be like, oh yeah, one big collaborative thing. But no.
Nature boy.
I would argue that druids should keep more secrets than rogues. Because everything a druid is taught from the moment they become a druid is strictly, at least traditionally in the older editions, only meant to be taught to other druids. Especially druidic. Because once you crack druidic, you can crack all the other secrets of druids. And it's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't teach anybody that.
Big no, bad.
Yes. You keep those secrets to yourself. You keep everything you're doing, and you keep it to yourself. That's the key to being a druid. You can go off into the woods and be like, I'm going to go commune with the spirits. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And then you're just like, don't worry about it. And then you just go. Right?
And then you just leave for a bit.
People might think you're crazy, but that's fine.
This guy's a little weird, but okay.
Yeah. The second thing is, I think a lot of people, maybe they don't catch on because roleplay's new to them, or maybe their DM doesn't put enough emphasis into the world for this to make a lot of sense, but try to embrace the beauty and the wonder of the world that you are in. Or if the setting is more dark, embrace the bleak darkness and the depressing nature of the world around you, because
play sports.
It's literally where your power comes from. Your power comes from nature. If you don't embrace,
comes from the surrounding environment.
Yeah, so if you don't embrace the atmosphere of whatever game you're in, like if you're playing a game in the Fae and everything's bright and colorful and happy and cheerful and sometimes dark and terrifying, but it's always colorful and bright all the time, you kind of have to embrace that as a druid. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, are you really a druid, or are you just pretending to be a druid?
Some schmuck.
Yeah, and I think the third tip I have for role-playing druid is the devil is in the details. You really have to go in depth with what you're doing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Just, I think the smallest things can mean a lot. Like, I've had a druid where this town like bulldozed part of a forest to make a road through there. And what he would do every day, he would walk from the lake where he lived to town. And as he went, every time his staff tapped the ground, he would use druidcraft to make a flower appear. Yeah. So that he's slowly taking back the roads for nature. Because he's got a long time to do it. So he would just do that every time he'd come back to town. And it's little things like that. Or like mourning the death of like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
That the party just kind of stumbled across, and everyone could be like, I mean, it's just like a bird, you know. It's like, this druid knew this bird, and they talked regularly, and he was like, he was innocent. He was a pure soul, you know.
He was a homie.
It's little things like that that really bring the druid, I think, into focus.
Yeah. The kind-heartedness.
That being said, I have broken these rules on almost every druid I've ever played. For example, I had a druid that he was taught druidic by a circle of druids that took him in after he was injured, and then when he left, he just didn't care about the druids anymore, and he used his knowledge to explore the jungles in search of gold, and he would regularly speak with plants, and then he would light plants on fire as he was listening to them, so they would like scream, and he would just listen and smile. Because he was really messed up.
Yeah, he was pretty messed up.
Hey, Ben.
What's up?
This is like the fourth character that I know of yours that has a very sadistic side. What is wrong?
I don't know what you mean, bro. I can't think of any others.
Okay.
You name one other.
Gregor.
Gregor does not have a sadistic side. Or at least he didn't until Jacob messed with his brain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on me.
That's on Jacob.
I'll take that one.
That's not me.
I might have messed around in his noggin a little bit too much as the DM.
Finn.
Finn is not sadistic.
That's not his fault.
Yeah.
That's from his party members. That's because of your character.
Yeah,
Michael.
Your character is slowly influencing this poor innocent child to become more and more like a sociopath.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Not my fault. How are you going to be like 4 of your characters? Like,
only
out
list
of my, like,
3.
What, 20 characters I've played.
Moving on to Ben's low magical item corner.
Whoa, hold on. What? I want to get your guys' opinions on the roleplay of druids. I want to know.
I like the things that you touched on. I personally prefer like playing the wholeheartedness, like, you know, more innocent and happy, you know, chill dude. I guess I'm the dank guy. I'm the dank guy.
You're the dank kush guy.
I guess I'm the kush guy. I didn't realize it until just now, but I guess my druid is the kush guy.
Which is ironic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my whole thing with role playing druids, for the one druid that I've role played, and I really do think that it's been a fun way of doing it, is someone who is very dedicated to nature. There's been a major problem that my character has been facing. Well, the whole party, and I mean, overall, the whole world is kind of facing a major problem. A solution was proposed where a very powerful being could take care of this problem, but it came at the price of possibly destroying miles upon miles of nature. And my guy was like, nah, we'll find another way. Even though this whole other way has been taking us a very long time to figure out.
Maybe these listeners will hear about it in like some random history books in a future game that we're gonna play in Ben's world that you guys will get to be a part of and listen and watch.
That's why I'm not going into too much detail. I'm trying to hit the points of how I roleplayed Druid without giving away too many things.
Yeah, you guys will hear a whole lot of stories about our crazy characters and what they've done, how stupid they all are. Even the smart ones are hella dumb.
I want you to know, like, actual historians at some point in my world will be like, I'm pretty sure that's like a fictional story. Like, that's no way that's real.
All these real stories happened. Because of our characters, they're just like, no, did that really happen though?
they were lying. They were inflating.
I bet a gold that's fake.
And then this author's really crazy, dude. What's he on, like, drugs? Like,
you must know Jacob's druid.
Yeah.
Jacob's unnamed druid.
Yeah. That is how we view role-playing a druid.
Yeah.
But that brings us to Ben's low-level magic item corner. Welcome!
Actually run by Ben this week.
Aw, yeah, which means I'm back with a vengeance.
Oh boy,
I'm
he's coming
back.
in strong with Druid too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. First thing on my list, the best, I would argue, literally one of the actual best items for Druid ever. The Bag of Tricks. There's 3 different kinds of the Bag of Tricks. There's tan, rust, and gray, right?
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really matter which one you have.
Yes.
The only thing the colors change is what's inside the bag. But no matter what, the Bag of Tricks is full of random animals that you can just summon. you just throw it out, and you're just like animal, 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 animal. And for druids, that is literally the greatest thing ever. you can just pull out like an elk randomly, just like go, and then you can wild shape into an elk now, or you can be spawned with that elk, or you
One
can
of
use
them-
animal friendship and ride that elk, or anything.
One of them's a brown bear.
Yeah, you
Like straight
summon a
up.
brown
It's
bear.
a bear.
It's a bear.
Giant hyena.
Yeah. It's things like that. And
Baboon.
it's like, yep. It's quite possibly the greatest magic item of all time.
Or as simple as a rat.
Yes.
Could be that
Which
easy.
there are many uses for these things.
Yeah. Or a giant rat.
Yeah, exactly.
A whole
Or
bunch of stuff.
a giant dire rat.
Now,
Yeah.
I do want to touch on this a little bit with the Bag of Tricks. So this was something that I heard about while listening to another D&D podcast, and that one I'll name it. It's Profanity for Emphasis. They're also fairly new. So they have a player in there with a deck of cards that is a magic item, I'm assuming. I don't know if they made it or if they found it online. I don't know what the situation is there, but it was a really cool item, and it's essentially like a deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. There's like souls of different creatures trapped inside these cards, and you can like throw the card down and the creature pops out of the card.
All right.
That is interesting.
And you can bring it back to the card by telling it to get back.
Okay.
It's essentially a deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but for
Alrighty then.
animals.
Exactly what that is.
It's fantastic.
I want that. I, as a person, want that. Yeah, it's essentially that, but you can't put them back. Once they're out of the bag, they're out of the bag.
Cat's out of the
So
bag
out of the
now,
bag,
boys.
you got to deal with them.
Yep. If you're ever stuck in a place and you don't have to see any way out and you're all out of spells or whatever, just throw that bag down. Just summon them all at once and then run.
See what happens.
Yeah,
Also-
why not?
Also, you can't use it more than 3 times a day. So
But, just throw those 3 random things.
But
down.
tomorrow, you could get 3 more.
Yeah. And speaking of items you can use 3 times per day, brings us to our next item. This item
That's convenient.
specifically is from Tomb of Annihilation. So you're not going to find it in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but you can find it in Tomb of Annihilation.
All right.
This is the Mask of the Beast. It's a wooden mask shaped in the likeness of a beast that's like a beast's face. And it has 3 charges. And you can use a charge to cast Animal Friendship as an action. So if you have the Bag of Tricks and you are tapped out on spells, you can still summon one of those babies and use Animal Friendship on it 3 times a day, 1 for each beast. And it regains all of its expended charges at dawn. So if you do it right before dawn, and then you're like, all right, now we wait. And then as the sun comes up, your mask is just like, hello, I have 3 charges. 3 more uses. That is a way to do that. And it's just very useful because druids should be able to talk to animals and should be able to be friendly.
Yeah, you don't even need the bags to profit from being able to cast Animal Friendship for free.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're in a city that you're new to and you're like, I don't really want to talk to people, but I'd love to ask like a sewer rat what's good, like hey, is there any restaurants I should avoid because it tastes especially good to you? Like things like that. It's just a very useful item. The third, and I think pretty good, I did limit myself to uncommon magic items because it is, they're not supposed to be very rare. So my third item is a staff. It's called the Staff of the Python. And I was kind of torn when I was choosing these magic items between the staff of the poisonous snake, or the staff of the viper, I believe it's called, and the staff of the python. But I chose python because you can throw it down and it turns into a python, a giant constrictor snake. And the reason I chose this is because it is extraordinarily useful to just be able to have something that can grapple and restrain creatures. That you just have on you at any time.
Is it your friend, or will it do it to you too?
It just does it. Yeah, it's your friend. It's under your control. And when it drops to 0 hit points, it just turns back to a staff.
Oh. Cool. And it doesn't even strangle you. That's good.
Yeah, so not only can you use it to whack people, you can shillelagh them. Shillelagh the crap out of them. You can cast your spells with it, or you can throw it down and then have it just crush people to death while you whack them with advantage.
Well, I hope you have another whacking stick. I hope you have another whacking stick for while this said whacking stick is, being used to hold them in place. And
even better, wild shape into the exact same shape as your python, and then there's 2 pythons. They don't know which one to attack, and then you both do it. And then you find another python and you use your Mask of the Beast use animal friendship on that python. Now there's 3 pythons.
You just happen to get one out of the bag of tricks.
That's 4 pythons.
You actually do it 2 more times as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 5 pythons. You have 3 charges on that mask.
No, 6 pythons. That's 6 total pythons.
Is it 6? No, because there's 1, 2, 3 from the mask, 1 from your staff, and you.
Yes. Plus the bag of tricks.
5.
Plus the bag of tricks again. Plus the bag of tricks again.
Yeah, but so those ones aren't your friends. Those are just normal pythons.
But still, that's 8 pythons.
That's still so many pythons. It doesn't matter if they're your friend at this point or not.
If it was me, I would stop it at 5.
Which python are you attacking? You don't know. There's too many. There's too many pythons.
You have to start numbering your pythons.
Yeah. But these are my choices for the best low-level magic items for druids. Obviously, depending on what kind of druid you are, that's going to change. And obviously, the higher rarity you go up, the better the items.
That could be said for any class. That could be said for any class, though. So,
I think my favorite magic item that I used to have was also a staff. Let's see, it was the Staff of the Woodlands. It's a rare item. It requires attunement by a druid. And I would use it. What you could do with the staff is you could stick it in the ground and it grows into a massive tree. And I would just hold on to it. So I would ride up and hang onto a branch.
That party rested on the top of that tree every night.
And then what I would do is we would use our what I would do is I would take the branch. I would have somebody unfold a foldable boat. And then I would take the tree, angle it right at the boat, and then stab it into the ground so it would, at an angle, grow up and take the boat with it. So we would sleep in the boat, in the tree, with a slant so we could walk up and down the tree, down into the ground.
It was pretty interesting.
It was the greatest use of an item, I think.
Should also be said that this was in the game of Tomb of Annihilation, so we felt a lot safer up there.
Yeah. I think it'd be even better if we had a Darren's Instant Fortress we could put up there too.
It'd be kind of ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, it would just be like a fortress in a tree, and everyone's just like, what on earth?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, these are my personal favorite magic items for my personal favorite class.
Yep.
I certainly hope that you guys have enjoyed hearing us talk about druids, and I certainly hope you guys are willing to give it a shot, even though it is a bit complicated. Druid is one of those weird classes where you get to pick your spells every day, so there's constant upkeep. You don't just get to pick them and then forget about them.
That's what I do.
It's complicated.
I just pick them and forget about them.
That's what he does.
That's what Michael does.
But yes, I encourage you guys to give Druid a shot if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. And I certainly hope to see you see your guys' Druid stories one day all over our social media, and maybe we'll tell some more stories about it one day. Oh, one more thing. Speaking of stories, almost forgot.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about my Druid.
Yeah.
That I'll
One
be
of Ben's
playing
characters.
here very shortly. And I have played before several times.
Yeah.
This might be a long one. I'll try to keep it brief. My name is, people call me a Varen. I'm a water genasi. I was raised in the Fountain of Youth. I'm a guardian of the Fountain of Youth. That is what my mother is. And my father got lost. Got sucked into the elemental plane of water where the fountain resides through a giant whirlpool. My father is Blackbeard the pirate.
The notorious pirate Blackbeard.
Yes, so I am half human pirate, one of the most notorious pirates ever, and half guardian of the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
He is an interesting character. He's been reborn like 3 different times in 3 different games, all of which run by the same DM, but all of which have slightly different backstories, and all of which have slightly different origin stories.
And do they all have different subclasses too?
I think they do.
Just trying to get this guy right.
Originally, I was Circle of Land, I was Coast, and then I believe I switched it to Circle of Moon at one point, and then now I am a homebrew called the Circle of the Waves, which I much prefer for this character.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
It already sounds like it suits him more.
Yeah, Circle of the Waves. He is a druid because he was taught to be a druid by his mother while he was living in the Fountain of Youth. And he left because his mother wanted him to take her place so that she could leave the fountain and he would be forced to stay and guard it. To which he said, screw that. And he left.
That's fair.
And he is a druid, but the problem with him being a druid is that the only aspect of nature that he actually respects and like protects is that of the ocean.
Yeah.
Every other aspect of nature he doesn't like. So he just doesn't care. Like, he'll burn down a forest if it preserves the ocean that is on its base, you know?
Yeah.
So he has this dastardly plan that maybe will come to fruition, maybe will not. His plan is to create a massive floating armada of ships with all of his most loyal subordinates, and then open a portal in the sky to the elemental plane of water and flood the world in seawater.
He wants to make Waterworld in D&D.
He does. And then he wants to lead his people to go collect all the treasures that were buried at the bottom of the ocean and then rule like kings. He also wants to reclaim the Fountain of Youth so he could live forever and enjoy the pleasures of his hard work.
Yeah.
While also being the guardian of the ocean.
Yeah. He's got big goals.
He's got big goals. He's kind of messed up in the head, though.
Yeah.
He's really messed up. But
it's really he's really kind of fitting with the rest of his party, at least for this party, from what I understand. Because we're all playing pirates.
Yes. So I like to think that I started that just by being like, I'm a pirate, and everyone's like, pirate, you say?
I literally tacked on pirate on top of another like theme that I just really wanted to play because I really like that theme.
Also, a Varen's signature weapon, you're not gonna believe this, okay? Signature weapon actually has nothing to do with druids. His signature weapon is the Decanter of Endless Water.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Which is just a vial, not really a vial, it's more like a glass water skin that just has infinite amounts of water in it. And you can use a command word, it's geyser, and it just blasts people with water. That's his number one weapon. He's had it for 3 campaigns. Hayden always lets me bring it with me to the next game. I just love it so much. It's all I ever ask for. Like,
Yeah.
you have people who are like, oh man, you can have 3 magic items. I'm just like, I only want one. I only need that one item. But that is a tale from my D&D games. That is one example of a druid. Like I said, I'd love to hear your guys' examples of druids on our social media. And
Our social media, you say?
our social media?
Whoa, what's
You
our
mean-
social media?
You mean like our Instagram at Travelers Tips and Tales, or our Facebook at Travelers Tips and Tales, or our Twitter at Tips Tales, our Tumblr page, which is Travelers Tips and Tales. You could also email us about your druids at travelerstipsandtales@gmail.com, or our YouTube channel that we also upload all of our podcasts to, and we also have big plans for in the future, like maybe that one game that I hinted at earlier in this episode called Travelers Tips and Tales. What?
Oh.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
And also, how could I forget our Patreon at Travelers Tips and Tales?
We have a
What?
Patreon. Travelers Tips and Tales? What?
Yeah,
We
in
do.
fact, we're still waiting. We still need one more Patreon member, and then we're going to be doing episodes with the first 3 ever patrons.
Yeah.
Also,
Shout
since
out
we have
to-
a patron at a
Yeah.
higher tier now, we're actually posting homebrew stuff. I swear it's up there. You guys can go look. There's posts you can't see. That's because it's homebrew.
Unless you were
'Cause you
that
gotta
one
subscribe
person
to get them.
who is a
One
higher tier.
person gets to see them. And that one person is,
Yeah.
drum roll,
It's Russ from Forgotten Path Games. He's our buddy. He entered in our giveaway. He talks to us all the time. He listens to all of our podcasts. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I can't wait to see how Jacob edits that.
First take. We do all one take, fellas. You guys can never find my edits. They're always so smooth.
The breathing is seamless.
Anyways, thank you for joining us. This has been Travelers Tips and Tales. Till next time, have a good one.